a absolutely massive win.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Oh, yeah, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I can't remember the last time I was this gassed about a 1-0 home win. Certainly against the likes of a team like Everton. But I tell you what, guys, the pressure was on this very young Chelsea team. Everton won't get relegated, won't get European football. They've been better under Moyes. They played without pressure. This was an opportunity to ruin the party. And I tell you what, man, we played well. We got the Jackson goal. We got the Lavia reintroduction, who played very, very well. And I'm very happy with how this game went, genuinely. Obviously, I would have loved a Cole Palmer goal. I would have loved, loads of Chelsea goals and an absolutely huge win. But I will take this 1-0 win to the bank and be very, very happy with it. And we're going to get into it today. Of course, there was no Enzo Maresca on the touchline. He was banned for this game, so we had Willy Caballero. But we're through the looking glass now. Of course, Palmer didn't get his goal, but we got a Nico Jackson goal, and we got a TNT Sports Player of the Match award to Rob Sanchez, our much questioned goalkeeper. And sort of potentially a little bit of a formation change. Certainly a very interesting situation with Noni Madueke. And I must say, guys, I'm so pleased we got a clean sheet, we got a Jackson goal, we got a win. Because this kind of game against Everton, who like I said, the pressure was off. We'll play your Newcastles, we'll play your Forests where the pressure will be on. We'll play your Liverpool, well, hopefully they'll be hungover. And, Man United, where potentially they won't give a so-and-so about the league situation. This was big. This was Everton being like, yeah, well, let's show we can still play football and, finally change that record at Stamford Bridge. But no, Chelsea won, Everton 0, thanks to a goal from our striker and a couple of excellent saves from Rob Sanchez, which I'm going to get into today. Guys, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I genuinely do hope that, because I'm doing a lot better after that. If you're feeling good, drop a like on this video. Thank you for joining me. Everyone's welcome here in Football Therapy, so if you want to subscribe, please do hit the bell if you choose to do so. And we're going to get into what was a magnificent team performance. Alrighty then, so as per usual, just before jumping into SofaScore for some details of what went down in the match, I think both, certainly Aston Villa and Forest are playing in the FA Cup this weekend. So this is an opportunity for Chelsea to go up to fourth and potentially stay there. And we've got into fourth. Newcastle, I think, can overtake us. We've gone into fourth now. It was a huge look, guys. This was the game, wasn't it? If you don't, not even lose, if you don't win this game, it's kind of over. You have to win, and we won. And dare I say, no one in the starting Chelsea 11 played badly. I know we're going to get into that now by utilising SofaScore. As you can see here on the left-hand side of the page is the attacking momentum meter. Chelsea largely dominant. Everton came back into the second half after changes, but we were ahead. We were protecting that goal. And SofaScore has us as a 3-4-2-1 formation, which is kind of interesting. So 4-2-3-1 for Everton. Jordan Pickford in goal, playing very, very well indeed. Brentford also had an excellent game against us in the centre-back position. Of course, a player that we have been linked to. Fortunately, Beto didn't have the greatest game because I was terrified of him. Rob Sanchez in goal, and we will go through player performances. Colwill and Cucurella playing the more reserved defensive role rather than the pocket role, the left number 10 that he's played sometimes. Chalobah and Colwill in the back three, and of course Lavia and Caicedo. So Caicedo was like an inverting right back, so you don't really see much here. He was sort of playing quite pushed up, but he was in theory an inverting right back in terms of how generally Chelsea have played this season. And of course the big story is Romeo Lavia, who hasn't played for months, certainly weeks or months, and when he did last play he was only for a few minutes. getting the start here, which was huge, and he had a great game, I must say. And holding the whip, Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, not a surprise. Big surprise seeing only ever right winger Noni Madueke holding the left. And then you had Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and Nico Jackson completing the front three. Now, I do want to, in a moment, show you the heat maps where these players were, naturally occupying, because that will give you like a sort of big indicator of, the plan here. And by the way, this was a tough game. I really want to assert that now, because Everton, they have been better under Moyes. They're no mugs. And like I said, this was just an opportunity for them. But for us, it was a really, really big must-win match. And we've seen this young Chelsea team, straight up fail in these moments. So that's really important context. Let's have a look at the stats just for a little bit of data. In the first half, Chelsea had 0.49 XG to 0.23. No big chances, but we got that amazing Nico Jackson goal. 5 shots to their 1, so we kept him at bay. And in the second half, it was 5 shots apiece, a big chance apiece. Chelsea still having more expected goals. Now, in total, we didn't even generate 1 XG, but that's kind of fine, considering the context of where Chelsea have been of late, the opposition, Jordan Pickford in form, Jared Brantwaite in form, and of course just the general, David Moyes, Everton tactical plan. Do you know what I mean? So that's essentially the way it went. And we got the 27th minute goal from Nico Jackson, and it was a great goal. It was a great goal from, I believe it was Trevoh Chalobah, winning the ball back very, very assertively, giving it to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, the captain on the day. I don't even know if he handed over the armband to James if he got the chance late on. But he released the ball very, very quickly to the centre forward, and which it was a simple assist, but it was a great assist in terms of how just immediately he released it. He was like, "This is our chance. We got to go now." And Nico Jackson, mate, taking the ball and tucking it into the left-hand bottom corner beautifully against what can only be described as a very informed Jordan Pickford. He was significantly their best player on the day, made a couple of great saves. I mean, our goalkeeper did rather well as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But it was a really good goal. Jackson deserves his flowers. He's often, praised for the stuff other than scoring that he does in terms of helping the attack. But no matter how much you do that, it comes down to your striker needs to score goals. He scored the most important goal in this game, the winner. He took it early and he tucked it right where Jordan Pickford couldn't get to it. And it was just a great goal. It was a great Chelsea goal. It was worthy of 3 points, as was a couple of saves from the Chelsea goalkeeper. Of course, I'll give him his flowers. He deserves it. And yeah, but you look at these. Again, it's just a freaking website. But look at all this green. All this green ratings. Nothing above, nothing below good from the Chelsea players. Just quickly in terms of Everton, probably, just Gana Gay, Brantwaite and Pickford. Certainly Pickford, very, very good. And let's talk about player performances then. Let's start with Rob Sanchez in goal. We could look at his stats here. His goals prevented 1.26, very, very good. Long balls, 3 out of 13, still poor. But to be honest, man, high claims, very, very strong, coming out and taking the ball. But let's be real, guys. It's those 2 saves he made. Early doors, I can't remember exactly in the game, he makes a great save, but then late on, he makes an amazing save, getting low. I mean, it's a 3-pointer. My position will remain the same. I mean, Sanchez would have to have 10 out of 10s for the rest of the season for my position to change on him. But, he's not my choice for Chelsea goalkeeper, but I will be. If he plays a role in Chelsea getting top 5, I will absolutely be eternally grateful to him, and I'll hope for his sake he gets a great move to a Champions League club somewhere in Europe or something like that. The errors speak for itself in terms of my position and how I feel about him, and I've seen a big sample size. Football change, things change quickly in football, but for me, I've sort of seen enough. But yeah, amazing performance. He got, like I said, Player of the Match award on TNT Sports. The back three, Cucurella playing a more reserved role, not going into that front left pocket, playing in the left centre-back role, which he did at Brighton when we bought him from Brighton under Potter. Was it Potter we still had? He was, apparently going to play that role. Still played a sort of not left pocket, but a reserve sort of left centre-back pressing high. Very, very good, of course, winning player of the match here on SofaScore. Yeah, I mean, absolutely deserves an immense amount of credit. Cucurella, basically since he won the Euros, he's become a very good Chelsea player. He was seen as a sort of overpayment, like a sort of silly purchase, but he's in his prime. He cost, like 60 million quid, but he's mustard. He's very, very good. He's playing in a multitude of different roles. He's scoring goals from that advanced left pocket role. He's defending incredibly well. He's a bit of a sugar house, and his 1v1 defending is great. And I mean, what else can you say about Marc Cucurella, except he's found himself as a Chelsea player, and it's been superb. Colwill a lot better. Chalobah, although slightly lesser rated here than Colwill, I think he was the better out of those two. Really great, all of them. In terms of like players to pick out, Noni Madueke really surprised me. Let's see how far up he played. Yeah, so he was just essentially playing, it looks left wing backy because he's not up here. He's sort of more reserved. But I tell you what, with Noni Madueke, certainly I had him earmarked as this player who could only play right wing. Like, he's a sort of like Bukayo Saka-y type. Although Saka's played left wing back, to be fair. But I saw him as this player that can only play right wing. That's his vibe. That's just what he does. But he played really well here. And he hit 2 shots on his weaker right foot that were both very, very good and commendable, and deserves credit for that. And I don't know if it was really, I doubt it was really Caballero that set this up. But yeah, he did great. He did great there, like in terms of, threatening the opposition. If he scored the goal, he would have been deserved of a goal. Very, very good indeed. Neto obviously made that amazing run that got Stamford Bridge on their feet. That was a moment. It was an important moment because it creates belief and support from the crowd, which the team will need in the game. But, maybe not as effective. Caicedo, consistently excellent. And then Lavia coming into the side, playing as a sort of like very much central defensive player, but as you can see on his heat map here, pressing up high. Considering the young man hasn't played for so long, I think he played very well indeed and will be an important figure for Chelsea should we reach our top 5 target going towards the end of the season. Cole Palmer, he's not scored. He's dropping very, very deep a lot of the time to try and get involved with the play, but he's still obviously a very capable and important footballer in the starting Chelsea 11, which can receive the ball deep, pass, never make any idiotic decisions. He himself will be desperate for a goal, an assist. I think he did get an assist a little while ago, but desperate for that goal. And once he gets it, I think he will play like better in terms of, being more aesthetically pleasing, but he has been quietly good, helpful and effective. And like I said, not doing anything dumb on the ball, which has been really important here. Look, man, he's just got a 7 rating here on SofaScore, but I was so gassed for Enzo Fernandez. Not because of the intelligent quick assist alone, but his sort of how cerebral he was when the ball is just heading it. Oh, it's come back quickly, I'll head it again. Never really letting it get away from him. Being a captain. Look, there's been a lot of criticism towards Chelsea for giving him this sort of vice captaincy after the controversy in the summer with the Argentina national team. Yeah, it was a dumb, stupid mistake. I think it was a cultural lack of education. I do think he's learned from it, and I do think he does have leadership qualities, and I do hope Chelsea keep him for the long term because I think he will get better. He's got a bunch of assists this season. We can maybe do a video on it at some point. Another one today. And a really good performance from Enzo Fernandez. And of course, the goal from Nico Jackson. I mean, it was a great finish. From a guy who consistently underperforms his XG. He scored a great goal today. Look at this, guys. A great goal today from 0.09 XG. That's what you'd expect from that opportunity. He puts it right in the corner. He scores an amazing goal, worthy of a winner in this game. And very, very pleased with him indeed. Of course, again, similarly to Sanchez, I think Sanchez needs to go somewhere else and be a first-team goalkeeper. I don't want Jackson to go anywhere, but I don't necessarily want Jackson to be Chelsea's first team or first choice striker. We saw a couple of substitute appearances. We saw 4. Very, very late ones from Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Tyreek George that couldn't affect the game, really. But we saw Sancho and Reece James. They sort of helped see out the game for the last sort of 10, 20 minutes. They were fine. But ultimately, it was a team performance that, again, for a 1-0 at home against Everton, considering what we've seen of late, I'm very, very proud of the team. I'm very happy. I'm not necessarily confident we can do it, but I do think there's a chance. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thank you so much for joining me as usual. Everyone's welcome, so like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.